Welcome back, my dear children of class 11. In this video I will explain about the phylum Platyhelminthes. In the last videos, first three phyla we have learnt, that is Porifera, Cnidaria and Ctenophora. So we will learn today the fourth phylum of animal kingdom, that is Platyhelminthes. Now Platyhelminthes are more advanced than the other three phyla, though they are also primitive animals, but a little more advanced than the first three phyla. First of all, they are terrestrial habitat. They live in terrestrial habitat. The other three phyla we have seen, they are living in water. They are aquatic, but Platyhelminthes is terrestrial, except one, Planaria, which is still aquatic. Now, first of all, they have dorso-ventrally flattened body. Their body is flattened dorsally and ventrally. So, from there that the phylum name comes. Platy means flat, helminthes means worms. So, Platyhelminthes meaning flatworms. So, as I told you in the last videos, from each phylum name you will get one important feature. So, this Platyhelminthes means flatworms because their body is dorso-ventrally flattened. Then, next characteristic, they are endoparasites. Now, there are two kinds of parasites, endoparasites and ectoparasites. Ectoparasites means they live on the surface of the body or among the hair, like a lice is an ectoparasite. It doesn't go into the body. But endoparasite means lives inside the body. So Platyhelminthes, they are parasites which live inside the body. So they are called a endoparasite. So like a tapeworm, liver fluke, etc. live inside the body. Okay. Then comes to their symmetry. This is the first phylum where bilateral symmetry starts. So they are bilaterally symmetrical, which means their body can be cut into two equal halves only through one plane. Only through one single plane we will get the mirror images. Then again triploblastic. Triploblastic also starts from this phylum. That is the body. There are three embryonic germ layers: ectoderm, endoderm and middle mesoderm. And so bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, terrestrial habitat, and another important feature, that is advanced feature, is organ level of organization. The other three phyla, we have the first three phyla we have seen that they have cellular or tissue level of organization. Here they are they show organ level of organization. But still there is one primitive characteristic, that is acoelomate. They don't have coelom, even though they have mesoderm, but body cavity doesn't develop from. So they are acoelomate. This is a primitive characteristic like the other three phylum. Then in parasitic forms, hooks and suckers are present so that they can attach to the body as well as suck the food from their host. Then they absorb nutrients from the host directly through their body surface. So they don't have a well developed digestive system, though some organs are there, but especially tapeworms, it absorbs the nutrients from all cells of the body. So it doesn't have tapeworm doesn't have a digestive system. Then for excretion and osmoregulation, flame cells help. Like in class 10 we have learned we have kidney for osmoregulation and excretion. So they don't have any kidney, they are very primitive, but still this excretory structure is developed first in them, that is flame cells. Okay. Then they are hermaphrodites, that is, they don't show sexual dimorphism. Sexes are not separate, which means they are hermaphrodites or bisexual. Then fertilization is internal. Internal fertilization, this is also an advanced characteristic, but still they undergo a series of changes, because larval stages, young ones do not resemble the adults, so they undergo larval stages. So many series of changes, as I told you, metagenesis occurs in them. So fertilization is internal and development is indirect, because larval stages are there, so indirect development is there. Then some members like Planaria possess high regeneration capacity. Their reproduction, one of the method of sexual reproduction is regeneration. In class 10 also we have learned Planaria is an example for regeneration. So even if the Planaria is cut into so many pieces, each piece can develop into a new Planaria. So some members like Planaria possess the power of regeneration. Okay. Then some of the common examples are Tinea solium, that is tapeworm, Fasciola hepatica, that is liver fluke. Okay. Then Planaria I have already said. So these are the general characteristics. So general characteristics of Platyhelminthes. So how they are different from the other phyla, let us summarize. One is syphilization. Syphilization means the head development. Here, though it is not a well developed head, but some sort of brain development is there, though it is very primitive. So it is called a syphilization. So syphilization starts in the Platyhelminthes first. Then blind sac body plan. Blind sac body plan means their excretion as well as intake of food. That is, intake of food as well as excretion of or elimination of waste materials take place through one opening only, single opening. There is no anus, through the mouth only, both will happen. So they have a blind body plan, blind sac body plan, means the one opening only for the digestive canal. Okay, gastrovascular cavity, mouth is only for elimination of waste as well as for intake of food. Then they are triploblastic. This is how they different. Here they differ from other three phyla. Bilateral symmetry, organ level of organization. So these advanced characteristics in higher animals actually start with starting this Platyhelminthes. Then they are terrestrial. Other three phyla you have seen that they are aquatic. This is terrestrial. Then fertilization is internal. Okay, internal fertilization. Those who are aquatic, there is external fertilization. In other three phyla you have seen. Now comes to some examples and a little bit of internal anatomy we will learn. Here are the three common examples. Actually they belong to different classes. But you have to learn the names of them. So Planaria is the first one, free living in water. Then liver fluke is an endoparasite. Tapeworm is also endoparasite. Okay, endoparasite. So this is it, the most familiar or most common examples. So let us see. This is somewhat eye spot. They are not called, actually they are not proper eyes, they cannot see with this eyes, but they are called a eye spot. Then there is a mouth and the pharynx. So mouth and anus is one opening, that is why blind sac body plan. So this is Planaria. Then this is the liver fluke. Liver fluke, again this is the sort of head region, and there is acetabulum. Now what is acetabulum? Specialized sucker. It is again sucker. Specialized sucker by which the worms are attached to the host and suck the food. Okay, so this is in liver fluke, acetabulum. Then this is tapeworm. Though you can see some segmentation here, but this is not the real metameric segments. Okay, this is one of their special characteristics. and they have a head region called as scolex, and there is a neck region, and suckers are in the mouth. Let us see little more detail. So this is planarian anatomy. Here you can see this is the eye spot. Okay, I told you these are not called eyes, actually it is eye spot, with which they can sense the light, the intensity of light they can sense. Okay, then this region auricle, then here is the gastrovascular cavity. So pharynx extended through the mouth, and it is connected to the gastrovascular cavity. And another very well advanced, I mean the advanced characteristics is brain. Though this is not actually, it is not the so-called brain, it's not a true brain. They are a group of nerve cells are formed. So sort of brain, which is called a ganglia. See, these ganglia are there, and two nerve cord arising from here. That is actually the axon of the nerve cell. So two main nerve cords are there. So these are the nerve cords. See, it is from one end to the other. Okay, from the anterior end to this end. So these are the nerve cords, and these are on the ventral side. Okay, and from the nerve cord again there is ganglia, and the branches are there. So these are transverse nerves are there. This is also a group of ganglia, right? So this is a sort of nervous system, not well developed as in the higher animals, but a sort of nervous system. You have seen in Cnidaria and Ctenophora, nerve nets are there, but this is a bit more advanced, so sort of nervous system is there, but it consists of group of ganglia, and the ventral nerve cords are there. Then the hermaphrodites, so the reproductive organs are there. See, this is the penis in genital chamber, and then genital pore. Then here is the ovary and the yolk gland, then the test. So male and female reproductive systems are in one. So they are hermaphrodites. So this is the very summary of their internal structure. Important internal organs we have learned. Here again, eye spots are also called ocelli, ocellus or ocelli. Then the auricles, cerebral. This is what I was speaking of. Cerebral ganglia, and this ganglia give rise to the nerve cord. This yellow portion you can see, nerve cord. Okay, lateral nerve cord that runs through the lateral parts of the body. That is why it is called the lateral nerve cord, running throughout the body, and from there arise the transverse nerves also. Okay, and this is the pharyngeal chamber, mouth and the pharynx, and pharynx is connected to the pharynx connects the mouth to the gastrovascular cavity, and the structure that is, it branches throughout the body and allowing the nutrients from food to reach to all extremities, that is all parts of the body the food is. So this is a sort of digestive system, and one special feature is its mouth. Mouth is in the towards the tail region. Mouth is not situated anywhere here, upper end. It is somewhat in the middle, towards the tail region. That is also Planaria's specific feature. Then comes to tapeworm. First let us see tapeworm. So this is the tapeworm. So there is this is very interesting. All these, these segments are called a proglottid, and the mature proglottids are here. Okay, and the newly formed proglottid means new proglottids are formed from here. As I told you, this is not metamerism. Okay, but this sort of segments are there. That is this is what is present in them, and this is the head region. So the head region is called scolex. Tapeworms, scolex, and this upper portion, this is called scolex, and the hooks by which they attach to the small intestine. These are internal or endoparasite in human beings and pigs. So primary host is the human being. So human being small intestine that they are it is attached to. So this hooks and scolex help them to attach to the small intestine, and suckers help them to suck the nutrients. then there is a small neck region, and this is immature proglottids. These segments are called the proglottids. Okay, so these are immature, newly formed proglottids. This is mature, and these proglottids will fall after some time. So this is one diagram, and let me show you how it is attached to the. See, this is our intestinal lumen of the intestine, and with this head portion, with the scolex, the hooks and suckers, they are attached to the intestinal wall. Okay, you know, our intestine has villus and all, so nutrients are available. So nutrients are absorbed by the tapeworm. So this diagram I just want to show how it is attached to. So this is an internal parasite of humans. Okay, so human beings are the primary parasites. After that, because this is very familiar example, I'll show you its life cycle. See, adult tapeworm in small intestine, and this is about 8 to 11 feet long, and see, this is it, and these are the parts we have seen. Scolex, that is head of the tapeworm, attaches to the intestine. See, this portion attaches to the intestine, and then each of these segments can produce male and female gametes. So what happened? These proglottis from the posterior side, older ones will detach, and it will be in the human fetus. Okay, and see, the egg contaminated. This is the egg contained in human fetus. So then the egg contaminated vegetation is ingested by pork. Okay, livestock, that is pig. So pig is the second host of this tapeworm, and see, the egg hatches into larvae and infect the animal's muscle tissue. It doesn't live in these eggs hatch, and the larvae do not live in the intestine, small intestine of a pig. It will go into the muscles. See, the larvae form cyst in muscle tissue, and then, so this is the secondary host. Pig is the secondary host of the tapeworm, and the cysts survive in raw or undercooked meat. So those who eat pork or pig meat, what happens? Will go into their body, and especially if it is undercooked, then the persons who eat will be infected by this tapeworm, and then it goes into the intestine. Okay, will go into anybody who eats. So it's not that everybody's body tapeworm is there. Those who are in unhygienic condition. For example, it is you can understand that through human fecal matter that it is taken by the pig. So defecating in the open, this is why it is harmful, and so defecation should not be done in the open. So that is why you come to know that our country, in village areas and all, toilets are constructed. Okay, one is to maintain hygiene. If you are hygienic, you won't get the infection from tapeworm if you live in hygienic condition. Okay, so this is tapeworm, and so this diagrams I have shown you. Okay, so this is all about the phylum Platyhelminthes. So they are the fourth phylum. So they are in many respects they are more advanced than the other three phyla, the first three phyla. So again one more time we can see flatworms. They are flatworms, then endoparasites, bilateral symmetry, triploblastic and acoelomate. Then hooks and suckers in parasites for absorbing nutrients from the host, and flame cells. This is important. Flame cells for osmoregulation and excretion, and hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodite is and this is also a primitive characteristic. Okay. Then internal fertilization. So here they are a bit advanced, and this is about planaria. They possess. That means planaria and some members possess high regeneration capacity. It's the method of asexual reproduction. And these common examples name you have to learn: Taenia, Tinea solium is its scientific name. Tapeworm, common name. Fasciola hepatica. Hepatica because it lives in the liver. Not only in human beings, some other animals also this kind of liver flukes live. So that's all in this video. Thank you very much. Learn very well. And if you have understood, then please like, share and subscribe my video. And wait for the next video with the next phylum. Thank you very much.